Okay then, here's a quick run through of how to make a form. You can see from the screen that I've got two tabs. One I've named form and then the other one I've named data, and I put some data in here because these are going to go into my drop down box. I don't want them on the same place as the form. So let's start my form design. I start by highlighting the cells that I want to make into my form like that. And then what I do is I go to the border and select a thick border like that. Then I go back to the cells, highlight them again and choose white as a background. And I'm only doing this so it doesn't look like a spreadsheet. So first thing I might want to do is to put in some free text. So I could type in the word name and then a colon, and then I can highlight the three cells that I want people to write their name in and press merge, and now I've got a space for them to write. Now it doesn't look like there's a space there, so I'm going to choose the border and select outside border, ready for them to write something in. So what else can I do? Well, I've got my developer tab here, and if I click on insert, I've got some form controls. Now if your developer tab is not here, go to file, then go to options, then go to customize ribbon and make sure this box is ticked that says developer. So with my developer tab, I can go and add in things like a checkbox. So if I click on it and drag it, you can see I've made a checkbox, and if I click on the checkbox I can simply select the writing and put in something. Do you wish to receive emails from us? There we go, there's my checkbox done. And you can see if I tick it, if I right click on it, I can go and amend it because you can see that the box is too small. So let's just stretch it out. There you go. And I can put that somewhere down at the bottom. So that's my checkbox. What else have I got here? Well, I've got my drop down box. If I click on my combo form and drag and draw to make a box, you see how it looks like. You can see there it is there. If I click on it, there's nothing appearing. So how do I fill my combo box with information? Well, what I do is I right click on it and I select format control, and I've got some choices here. The first one says input range. Click on this square at the end, and it's now asking me to put in the values that's going to go into the combo box. Well, I've got my values already written, so if I click on data, I can go back and highlight the data to go in like this, close the box, click OK, and if I click off and click back on, you can see I've got them there. So if I right click on this to select it, I can then move this about, and really actually I should have put this before name, but let's just put title in here just so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Now I might just right click on this and then press the arrow keys to highlight it, and then press the arrow key and I can move them down a bit. So that's the drop down box. What other things have I got here? Well, I have got the radio buttons. Now radio buttons are option buttons, a bit like drop down boxes where you can choose. But if you've got more than one option button or radio button in your form, you will need to group them. So if I select the group thing first, like here, and make a box, and then what I do is I now select the radio buttons and put them inside this box. There's number one, click on the next one, and here's number two. I've only done two, and then again, just like with before, I can right click on them and I can then go and type in here and change these. So I can put male, for example. Let's right click on this one, edit the text and type female, and hopefully these should work. There you go. Now the reason why I put them in a group box is because if I want to have another set of radio buttons or option buttons, they will work separately from these. What other features are here? Well, there's quite a clever thing here which is called a spin control, and you can use that to make a number in a box change. So if I just put the word, I don't know, quantity, so say this form was about people buying something, and if I just go and add in a border, so people could type in a number here, so they could put in 4 like that, but why not have a spinner that they can actually click on to control? So look, if I click on the spinner, drag and draw, and then if I right click on it and go to format control, I can choose the value it's set at, the minimum value, so I'm going to make that 1, and the maximum value, so it can go up to 10, and in what steps it goes up in. So it could be 2, 4, 6, 8, 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever. I'm going to make it 1. Click OK. Now, before I click OK, I need to link it to the cell. So click on here and click on that box because that's where it's going to control. Click OK. And now if I use this, you can see it changes. What else have I got? Well, I can do the exact same thing, except rather than use the spinner, I've got a scroll bar. And if I drag and draw the scroll bar, it works in a similar way, except you scroll along, so you could control something with the scroll bar. And then finally, well, not finally, you've got macro buttons. Now we're not actually going to make these work, but you can add them in. If I just press cancel, you can add them in as buttons, and then you can highlight them and type in the word enter, for example, and you could have one that said reset. They're not going to work, but they're quite useful to have. And then I guess finally you can look at these ones here, which are list boxes. If I just click and drag a list box in and right click and go to format control, what I can do is I can select with the list box different features for people to select. So if I go back to my data and write in something like sports I like, and then underneath it I can write in some sports, like this, I don't know, darts. There we go. If I go back to my form, I right click on it and go to format control, select the range by going to data and highlighting the range, closing the box. Cell link, well, if I click on here, for example, what it'll do is it should put the value into there. Actually, no, I won't do that. Okay, that box is ready. If I click on it, oh, what's happened there? Format control, oh, I seem to have lost the range. Go back to it, highlight the things, press enter, click OK. Now, selection type, I can either choose a single item or I can choose more than one item. So if I click OK, you can see I have got here my combo box. I click off and drag down, and what I can do with it is I can select more than one item. That might be of use to you. So what you've got to do to end with is you've got to complete and make this form, and I'd like you to print screen it, put it in a Word document and email it to me.